Hi, and welcome to another episode of Sended, where we're talking about all of golf's hottest topics. This week, we are recapping the Masters with two of my favorite people, Dan O'Neill and Alex Miceli. Hi, I'm here once again with Dan O'Neill and Alex Miceli. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Perfect.
What a Masters we had this year. This year, the Masters did not get as high as ratings as it's had in years past. With no fans and everyone forced to watch from home, why do you think the ratings were so low?
Alex?
Dan? Oh, you want me to answer first? Well, first of all, what I thought was interesting is Sunday's final round ratings were the lowest since 1957, which is when I was born. So that you can tell by the gray hair that I have, that was a long time ago. I think there's a combination of many things. The golf ratings, when golf first came back, golf ratings were really high because there was no other sports going on. And everybody was clamoring for sports. Now it's kind of like doing Zoom meetings. There's a point where you're like, I'm not really into it. I'm tired of watching golf tournaments where there's no patrons or fans. It's over at 3 o'clock. I get the NFL on at 1. I don't know if I really want to watch it. No, and Dustin Johnson's up by 4. Do I really think he's going to blow it again? No. And the golf course doesn't play like the normal Augusta course does. So, it hasn't been that much fun watching. So I guess I'm not going to watch it. And I think that's what happened.
I hadn't really thought of that. I wasn't aware of this until you mentioned that, Alex, that the last time the ratings were this low was when you were born, the year you were born. So obviously you must be born again this November. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think I agree with what Alex said. I also think, the Masters, this Masters was really, from a television standpoint anyway, or from being on site, was more of the Augusta National tournament, because the Masters is usually a spectacle, and a big part of that spectacle is the galleries and all that's going on, and that's the Masters. This time, I think the pure golf fan watched, as Alex and I did for sure, and anybody who's really into golf watched and enjoyed it because you got pictures you didn't normally see. But I think they probably lost the casual sports fan, and the Masters has a ton of them. People who don't necessarily watch golf on a regular basis, but Masters Week, they watch. And I think they probably lost quite a few of those fans.
For sure. This was the first.
Alexis, can I add one other thing to that?
Yes.
I think, what Dan says about the patrons and the galleries, and this is a stroke play event that people watch, and clearly you need them there to make it what it is. There was that debate going on about midsummer this year about if we were going to have a Ryder Cup or not. Could you think how flat that would have been if they would have gone on and had it? And that requires even more. You have to have more fan participation, not less, than what they have at Augusta. So, that just shows you that even though I believe the players, most of them could care less if fans ever showed up again. If they don't have the fans, it's going to hurt the product.
But I'll add one other thing, Alexis. That's a good point Alex make. I don't think that the players, they're perfectly happy to not have fans there. But I do think it changed the tournament. And I do think at the Masters or the major championships, when you have 50,000 people there, whatever it is, there's a lot more pressure. There's a lot more to deal with mentally for the players. And I think from that standpoint alone, not to mention soft golf courses or anything like that, this was an easier maybe the easiest Masters ever played.
Right. I also think, a lot of times the entire week builds up into the tournament. And so not having like the par 3 tournament, John Rahm, has 2 hole-in-ones back to back, and it didn't get the excitement that I would normally feel because I can't see the tweets of people that were there, see the other videos from other perspectives, and I think that had a lot to do with it. But also, I think everyone had a really high expectations of Bryson coming in and destroying the course or kind of doing what he did, which is blowing up. Was Augusta too difficult for him, or did he just not execute?
I think I'll go first, but I think a big part of the Masters is hype. I mean, and I personally feel way too much has been made of Bryson DeChambeau's distance. I mean, it's important to be sure, and it gives him an advantage in situations. But I love the fact that so much was made of that, and how he was going to turn number 13 into a par 2 or something. And then he went out and got a 7 on it his first time out. So I sort of thought that was, balancing the scales a little bit. So I do think, a lot of people expected him to really tear the place up. But there's a lot more to winning the Masters and doing well at Augusta National than hitting the ball real far.
And you know what? And that's true in general. I mean, just because you can hit the ball long does not mean that all of a sudden you're going to be, the bee's knees out there and win all these golf tournaments. It just doesn't work that way. So that's why when you hear the USGA and the RNA talk about how they need to rein the ball in and do this and do that, well, I mean, why? Because in reality, it's just not, the distance is not the whole thing. There's so much more to playing golf than just distance. And there better be, or if not, there's going to be a lot of people not playing golf anymore because they're not going to be able to hit it far enough. But in Bryson, look, he's got till April to kind of work it out. He's going to do like any good player will do. He's going to completely forget about what happened last week and move on. And we'll see how well he does. But I mean, do I think that his game suits Augusta National? At some point, probably does.
Dustin Johnson finally gets the green jacket. We got to see him emotional for one of the rare times that, he kind of shows that side. What does this mean for his career with winning the Masters?
Winning majors is hard. It doesn't matter. People say, oh, he won a major, guys backed up this and everything else. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, that person 10 years from now, they're going to say they were the major winner at X or Y or Z. And that's what all it's about. And so winning majors are hard. And so in the case of Dustin Johnson, being from South Carolina, the whole mystique of Augusta National is huge in the South. So he's going to be going there every year now till the day he dies. And I'm sure that's a huge thing for him. I think he gets through this idea that he can't finish on a Sunday. I mean, I thought he played very well at the PGA Championship this year, shot 68, which generally you would think leading like he did, shooting 68 would be enough. And Colin Morikawa just played better. I mean, that happens. But he didn't give it up. He didn't give it up like he did at Pebble Beach. He didn't give it up like he did at Chambers Bay. So he played really well. And now he turns around and does what he needed to do to win here. So I think this is beyond a building block for him. I think this is where he starts looking at what I can do going forward. He'll win a lot of money. But I think at the end of the day, you'll look at him in this era and say he was one of the better players.
Yeah, well, he won a lot of money the past few weeks. He won $15 million at the Tour Championship. But yeah, no, it's funny how almost after every major, the press and whoever, there's always the inclination to talk about how many more this player is going to win, or is this the start of, is this the new Tiger and that kind of thing. It's a natural thing to do. But what the players are always talk about, and what Nicklaus talked about, is putting yourself in that position. So what we've seen certainly from Dustin Johnson is he consistently puts himself in a position to win these championships. So how many more he'll actually win, really hard to say, but he certainly, as he's shown, he's going to be there. So he's going to have a chance to win quite a few more, I think. Whether he'll do that or not, I don't know, but like Alex said, he's had a terrific career. I think he has 24, 25 PGA Tour wins now, 2 majors. So, he can relax. It's all down here. It's all on cruise control now.
One other thing, Alexis, is the fact that he makes a statement to the rest of the guys, which is something that's important. They realize now that every week Dustin Johnson's in the field, he can win. Yeah. And, you used to get that feeling with a Rory McIlroy, that's kind of gone. You used to get that feeling actually with a Jordan Spieth, that's kind of gone. You certainly got that feeling with Tiger. But now he's the guy that you feel if he's in the field, he's the guy you have to look at and be prepared for. He's the guy that if he's on the leaderboard and you're ahead of him, you got to look over your shoulder and see where Dustin Johnson is. That had not been the case in the past, I don't think, as much as it is over the last 6 weeks. He's really kind of established himself in that kind of position.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Dan, did you have
I
something?
might add, Alexis, that Alex also has made a statement that if you ask him a question, you better set your watch and have a seat because it's going to be a while before he's finished talking.
By the way, Queen's Gambit, what a great series.
Yeah, it is good. I slam dunked it, power watched it. So.
Wow, I feel like I'm missing out on something. I definitely need to do that this week.
Yeah, you got to watch it. Yeah.
So, and all you guys, make sure you watch Queen's Gambit so we can understand the jokes that these two have between each other. But thanks so much, guys, for coming on the show this week. Looking forward to another time with you guys on, and make sure you guys tune in to Send It next week.